The Pokemon on today's list is thick. What's good? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are continuing the Obsidian Flames deck profiles. If you've missed any of the previous videos, don't sweat it. Got you covered. They're going to be in the description below. We've already banged out the biggest, the baddest, the brightest, probably the most expensive in Charizard. And of course, we've done a personal favorite in Decidueye. Today, though, we have to keep the train rolling and talk about the greatest lightning Pokemon we might have in format. Kicking off our deck profile, we are running 4 of Larvitar Pokemon Go. Do I have any justification for this art over another one? No, I just like the artwork. Right away, we're gonna put 1 Pupitar from the Pokemon Go set. It has 90 hit points, but it's in here first attack. Crashing Bullet. This does 20 damage, each benched Pokemon, both yours and your opponent. It damages our bench, it damages their bench. So it could fix numbers, it could set things up. It also fulfills one of our attacks. Now it's the star of the show, the behemoth, the monster, everybody's favorite pseudo-legendary, Tyranitar EX. It is one of those brand new Terastal alternate type EX2 prize Pokemon. Lightning type, never thought I'd see that for this boy. 340 hit points, but what does it do? No ability, not worried there. It has 2 very interesting attacks. So for 1 fighting, I know, right? Lightning Pokemon attacks for fighting. Not gonna keep on that. 1 fighting energy, it does 120, but you have to discard the top 2 cards of your deck. So initially I read that as something different. I'm just gonna hang on that for a moment. You're not Tyranitar V. I did think it was that. The second attack, Thor's Rampage, does 150 damage, 2 energy, and if you have any benched Pokemon with damage on them, which is why we play that particular Pupitar, it does an additional 100 damage. So 250 damage on a lightning Pokemon for 2 energy, knocks out your Palkias, knocks out your Lugias, knocks out really anything below 250. So your Chenpaos, your Miraidons without those capes, you name it. Tyranitar is very difficult to deal with. Plus 340 is a very, very big number. So this is going to be a deck where we try to sustain 1 or 2 Tyranitars. They'll have to burn a lot of resources to work through that in 1 hit. And unless they're hitting for weakness, it's going to be a grind. So how do we set this bad boy up? Well, we're going to take advantage with 2 new Pidgey. You know where this is going. We're running 2 Quick Search Pidgeot EX. So this is a retrain of a card from many years ago. It is now a 2 prize, 280 hit point Pokemon with no retreat. Does it attack? Yes, we're not here for that. We're here for the ability. Once during your turn, search your deck for any card and put it into your hand. You can only use 1 of these abilities per turn. This is a Forest Seal Stone once per turn. This is half of a Starbirth, but once per turn. This is a free retreater. This is a very big Pokemon. It's not a liability once it's on the board. So we are gonna rare candy into it. It is very good. We are trying it out. I've heard a lot of excitement. I've heard a lot of negativity. I'm here to give it a try because this is a lower maintenance deck. And sometimes we wanna grab particular cards rather than raw draw into them. Continuing on with our draw engine though, we are playing 1 copy of Bidoof. It has the bench barrier. And 1 copy of Bibarel. Industrious Incisors. Once during your turn, you can draw cards until you have 5 in hand. I wanted both draw and to be able to tutor out particular cards I want. If I want one thing, I want to be able to just go into the deck, go grab it. Pidgeot is there for that. We're trying it out. I want to see how I liked it. I was a fan of it in early testing. We're playing 2 copies of Gengar from Lost Origin. So it's here for its ability. Its attack is irrelevant. Its hit point number irrelevant. Its ability, once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you may put it onto your bench. If you do, place 3 damage on it. Remember that attack we just mentioned with Tyranitar, Thor's Rampage? Well, Gengar helps fulfill that if we don't have to set up a Pupitar. We don't always have to attack with that 90 hit point Pokemon. We can bring a Gengar out of nowheres, and all of a sudden we're hitting for 250. So Gengar is there. It's almost like a choice belt in Pokemon form, so we can search it, we can discard it, we can put it on our bench. We can even use it as a sacrifice in worst case scenarios if we're down a turn or we're slow. We are very big. Sometimes we just need a turn by a turn. And then of course we're playing 1 copy of Manaphy. I'm telling you, they gotta start printing more basic Pokemon with the bench barrier ability. Careful countenance, similar to Bidoof. They do that, Manaphy is out of a job, but until then, Manaphy is going to see a lot of play because Radiant Greninja is really, really good. Now we gotta get him out of the way. We're playing 10 Fighting Energy. Toss him right at the bottom. And the reason is we're not playing any means of grabbing them. We would like to see enough of them that we naturally draw into them. Next up, we are driving through with the item cards. We are playing 4 copies of Ultra Ball. Discard 2 cards from your hand, search for any Pokemon. It's going to grab our evolutions. It's going to pitch cards for Industrious Incisors. It's the best search card in the game. There's really not much more to say. 4 copies of Nest Ball. So we do the debate between VIP Pass and Nest Ball is there. I went with Nest Ball to try something a little different. I get if you want to go VIP pass here. However, I feel like just using it as a 1-for-1 is plenty here, but I understand it. So Nest Ball just lets us search throughout the game, grabs our Larvitars, Bidoofs, Manaphys, Pidgeys. Great. For Rare Candy, again, Pupitar does not provide that insane curly of value. There's no middle stage ability that we really want. So we need to play 4 Rare Candy to increase our chances of seeing them, and occasionally dedicate 1 for Pidgeot. We only want 1 Pidgeot in play. One of those Rare Candies are usually for that. We are playing 2 copies of Super Rod. So that first attack I mentioned on Tyranitar, we will discard 2 cards off the top of our deck every time we use it, and that will be the main attack in the deck. You do want some means of recovering resources. Plenty of recovery. 1 is not enough. If you can deceive yourself and tell you 1 is enough, trust me, it's not. You'll pitch something and you'll go, oh, crud. Don't do that. We're playing 2 copies of Switch. If they try to stall something, they're usually only expecting the 1. Tyranitar is a tough move. Gengar is a tough move. Bibarel is a tough move. Playing 2 Switch is just good. I've seen lists opt for Escape Rope, and usually I'm in favor of the 1-1 split, but most times we're not pivoting around. We just want to throw our big body in the active and dare them to bring something up to deal with it. We don't want to be putting things out of harm's way. Playing 1 Hisuian Heavy Ball. As you know, I am guilty for forgetting to check my prizes. So Hisuian Heavy Ball lets us look at our face down prize cards. I can reveal a basic Pokemon and put it into our hand. Also, our key basics, Larvitar and Pidgey, if they wind up in the prizes, we're in a bit of trouble. Bidoof, sometimes, again, Pidgeot can carry up the weight load most times, but it's just there. If it's in format, I recommend playing it. It's not bad. It's not going to hurt you that much. And of course, we're going to jump to the heavy supporter line. And it is a very heavy line in this deck. I didn't play Lumineon. I understand that. I always start it, so I just opted out. For Iono. So each player shuffles their hand and puts it at the bottom of their deck, and then draws a card for each remaining prize card. This is, in my opinion, the best supporter for stage 2 deck. I don't care who you are. If you're Charizard, if you're Gardevoir, if you're Tyranitar, if you're Joe Blow down the street, this is the supporter you should be first looking at when you're building a stage 2 deck. It will improve as the game goes. We can top up our hand with Industrious Incisors. We're not afraid of this. We just don't want to be playing research, because when we lose a key resource, it hurts. If you lose a rare candy and you're working on a finite amount of resources, it sucks so much. I've had to throw away 3 rare candy off of research because I was in that much of a pinch. Whereas an Iono, I could have saved them for later. All right, that's enough of that one. 3 Colress Experiment. Is this a Lost Box deck? No, but this is a pretty freaking good card. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put 3 of them into your hand, toss the other 2. Usually you're looking here and you're just grabbing some key pieces. Once you're online with 1 Pidgeot and 1 Tyranitar, then you can be a little more loose with your resources. You're like, I don't need that, toss that one away. Oh yeah, we're fine there, get rid of that. Colress just lets us dig. Again, sometimes we don't want to put our hand at the bottom. Maybe we're a piece or 2 away. Colress lets us just push a little more. 5 cards is a decent chunk of the deck to just be able to look at and take what you want. I like Colress over, say, research, and I couldn't justify any other supporter. We are playing 3 bosses orders. I know what you're saying. This is a pretty thick supporter line. I did play 2 in a PAL pad. I still felt like that was not enough. I just wanted the boss. I just wanted to be picking what I hit. Put my big body in the active. We're gonna promote something on your side, and we're gonna smack it for 120. Occasionally we hit for 250, but we're gonna just go 120, 120, 120. Occasionally you'll discard some of those boss. Occasionally you'll discard the PAL pad. If we draw this card, if we draw a PAL pad, we still have to find a way to get the boss. So it does serve to be a little problematic. If you like PAL pad over the 3rd boss, I get that. That's a nice include as well. 2 Cheryl. So I was mentioning that we just kind of want to hit with 1 energy attack until our opponent's down and out. This kind of reminds you of the Oink Alone deck from the base set. Think a little bit bulkier. Tyranitar is what Oink Alone want it to be. We can Pidgeot for the Cheryl, heal everything if they try to sprinkle some damage in with the Sableye. We're already a big body to begin with, so if they're trying to size us up for 2-hit KOs, we can Cheryl it off, reattach an energy, and keep going on our day. You can even cut 1 down for something else. You really only need 1 for the sizable advantage. 2 just kind of secures it, unless they're hitting you for weakness. Cheryl just really works for it. Key numbers: Zacian and Gardevoir in the Gardevoir EX deck require 10 psychic energy or a reversal plus 7 more to get you. That's a tough ask. So if they reversal plus psychic embrace 6, they're still not getting you with the baby guard. Zacian has to get all 10. You are very big, so if they try to play the 2-hit game, Cheryl could make them try to deal with that, and they might overextend thinking they've got you next turn with something else. I will rant about that all day and night. We have some stadiums and some tool cards to talk about before we conclude the list. So for our stadiums, we're playing 2 copies of Artazon. So it lets us look for a basic Pokemon that does not have a rule box. Would you look at that? Not a rule box to be found. So it searches all of our basics. What's what's not to like, and it bumps that pesky path to the peak. Another one of those 2-in-1s, which is why I highly recommend. I'm becoming a big fan of Artazon, so you might see it in more of my lists. Just really enjoying the card as a whole. And we do need some sort of path bump at the end of the day. And the last 2 cards of the deck, some 2 new ones from the set. Vengeful Punch. When the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an attack on your opponent's Pokemon, put 4 damage on the attacking Pokemon. So let's say your opponent can some way, somehow find a way to knock out Tyranitar. Vengeful Punch makes sure they're coming with us. We can put it on a smaller Pokemon. We can put it on a Pokemon we don't want them to hit. We can put it on a Pokemon we have to leave in the active early on. Vengeful Punch just says, yeah, you're gonna knock us out, but you're gonna have to take something in return. And that can be enough to fix our math. So if a Lugia or a Palkia or anything weak to you takes 4, then all of a sudden our 120 is relevant. If a Gardevoir or Zacian hits you, all of a sudden they're taking 4 damage. I do like it in that sense. I thought of Choice Belt or Defiant Band or anything like that. You can also include those, but this just here allows you to deal with Gardevoir that loves to up trade. So some closing thoughts on the deck. I thought about another build. There's a Pokestop build I'm kind of brainstorming. I'm not entirely sold on. You can run heavier item counts, trekking shoes, gutsy pickaxe, battle VIP pass, level balls, just really hone in on the item count in the deck, and Pokestop would just allow you to grab them or grab the rare candies, and then you just make your choice between either Pidgeot or Bibarel, not both. Gengar, again, is kind of a brick in most cases, but we don't mind it hitting the discard pile off of a Pokestop, so it's also good there. Maybe we wouldn't play into the Cheryl. The new card Poppy I've considered just moving energy around so we can maybe soak a hit, play Switch Poppy, and then hit fresh with Thor's Rampage on a new Tyranitar, so we're forcing them to have Boss, or we're forcing them to hit into a new one, and then we can just Cheryl and take them both out. I do really, really like this as one of the new tanking archetypes in the format. It feels like it could carve out a niche similar to how Goodra does, but unfortunately has a weakness. Doesn't do any damage reduction, that's fine. It's gonna be a slow and steady deck. There will be turns where you get the chance to ramp, and then there's other turns where you just have to patiently go, okay, 1 attach attack. I do like the way they're going with the 1 prize or the 2 prize Pokemon, the stage 2. Low energy cost attacks are what is needed to keep them in the game. If you enjoyed the deck profile, let me know. If you didn't like certain cards or thought I missed something, please let me know. What do you think I could do to improve this deck? Again, let me know in the comments below. I'm always looking, I'm always taking feedback, and sometimes one idea is all it takes to get the ball rolling. Until next time, guys, take care.